Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Kubrali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada. Doug Ford says Bill 124 doesn't exist as his government appeals court decision striking it down. Special weather statement issued, Toronto GTA to see significant rainfall Thursday. Physiotherapist facing new sexual assault charges police. Inflation pandemic costs driving Ontario property tax hikes as upkeep backlogs grow. 15-year-old student in serious condition after stabbing near Stony Creek School. Judge allows class action against Ford government on COVID-19 long-term care deaths. Suspect in custody after unprovoked stabbing in Mississauga leaves man with critical injuries, police. Those were the headlines, and let's jump right into the details. A special weather statement has been issued for Toronto advising a significant rainfall on Thursday night. In its advisory, Environment Canada said the city could see 15 to 30 millimeters of rain that is expected to begin late Thursday afternoon. Considerable uncertainty remains regarding the track of the Colorado low responsible for this rainfall. Should the track of this low change, rainfall amounts could also change, the federal agency said. The rain will transition to snow by Friday morning, Environment Canada said, adding the few centimeters of snow can be expected. The special weather statement is also in effect in Peel, York, Durham, and Halton regions. The high for Thursday will be 6 Celsius, while on Friday the temperature will only climb to a high of -2 Celsius. The sun is expected to return in time for the weekend. Sunny conditions are in the forecast of Saturday, Sunday, with highs of -3 Celsius and 0 Celsius respectively. Ontario Premier Doug Ford spent a significant amount of time Wednesday trying to close the door on Bill 124, arguing it doesn't exist as his government continues to appeal a court decision that struck down the legislation. Let me be very clear to the folks out there. You can hear whatever it is. Bill 124 is lapsed, Ford told reporters at his first news conference on 2023. 2 weeks earlier, the Ontario government formally filed an appeal of a court decision that found Bill 124 legislation that capped pay increases for most people's sector workers at 1% for 3 years to be unconstitutional. At November 29th, the decision found the bill infringed on the applicants' rights to freedom of association and collective bargaining. The same day, Ford's government indicated it would be appealing the decision. The government argues the court erred in holding that the financial impact of Act's limits on the compensation increases substantially interferes with the respondents' rights to a meaningful process of collective bargaining. They also argued that the judge mischaracterized the reason why Bill 124 was put in place in to begin with, which they say was to manage the province's finances. The Premier reiterated this argument on Wednesday. I always have to be a prudent fiscal manager with the taxpayers' money, Ford said. We just can't be out there spending willy-nilly as people are working their backs off. They are taxed to the brink right now. They can't just keep dishing it out, so we have to take everything into consideration. Early this year, the Financial Accountability Office found the government may have to pay around $8.4 billion in salaries if the court challenge landed in favor of the workers. Ford was questioned about Bill 124 amid media reports that found the government was aware the legislation could negatively contribute to the healthcare staffing crisis. He argued the claim was not accurate because more than 60,000 nurses have been hired since 2018. However, Liberal MPP Dr. Adil Shamji says that while nurses are being hired, many are also leaving the profession. Shamji added that Bill 124, despite what the Premier claimed Wednesday, is still in effect. A proposed class action against the Ontario government alleging gross negligence in preventing COVID-19 long-term care deaths and serious infection may be able to proceed to trial pending a possible appeal from the province. It's not common for private citizens to sue the government and have their day in court. In his December 20 motion of certification, Justice Edward Bilobaba said he believes there is enough legal analysis to support at least an arguable chance of success for the tort claim against the Minister of Long-Term Care. In making the decision, Bilobaba referenced a report by the Long-Term Care Commission that found the province demonstrated a lack of urgency and delayed implementing several key measures. He also quoted microbiologist Dr. Dick Zotman, who suggested that 3,836 long-term care COVID-19 deaths as well as 23,000 infections were largely preventable, while the plaintiffs, which includes 4 Ontario residents whose parent died of COVID-19 in long-term care have had no direct interactions with the minister. Bill Baba argues the preamble in the Long-Term Care Home Act would provide a basis for the tort claim. Bill Baba argues it would be just and reasonable to impose a duty on the MLTC to take action without delay when the lives of long-term care residents are clearly at risk. The justice also found that by alleging gross negligence, the plaintiffs could circumvent the Supporting Ontario's Recovery Act, which prevents COVID-19 related lawsuits. Joel Rochon, a lawyer representing the 4 plaintiffs, argued that both the government and private sector actors had common responsibilities to protect the elderly residents. He said that historically, the government is protected from liability, meaning that litigation such as this has a higher bar to reach than other proceedings. There is a recognition that not all government conduct can and should be shielded from legal consequences. It is not only at the ballot box that government will be held accountable, he said in a written statement to CTV News Toronto. Speaking to reporters Wednesday afternoon, Ontario Premier Doug Ford said his government is pushing back because they disagree with the claims in the lawsuit. Everyone pitched in, every business, every person, every healthcare worker. We gave it our all. 1000%, Ford said. Did we have some challenges? Sure we did, like the whole world did. With a number of Ontario municipalities eyeing property tax increases, experts say homeowners across the province can expect to see higher tax bills this year because of inflation, pandemic costs, and recent provincial changes to development charges. The proposed hikes would be another hit to the wallets of consumers who are feeling the pinch of inflation in many cost of living areas such as groceries, gas, and mortgage rates. In Toronto, homeowners are expected to see 5.5% property tax increase, a $183 hike on average before accounting for other increases laid out in the budget proposal. That's in line with other projected bumps in Hamilton, Thunder Bay, and Waterloo. Annette Slack, director of the University of Toronto's Institute on Municipal Finance and Governance, says cities and consumers are facing the same problem. Toronto Mayor John Tory is unveiling his proposed budget this week, acknowledged the tax hike came at an inopportune time as residents face rising costs of living in an increasingly unaffordable city, but he noted it was still below the city's 6.6% inflation rate. Inflation is hitting city budget line items from debt financing to construction costs. Hamilton budget documents indicate the city expects its annual fuel budget to increase by around 50%, while Tory has said increased fuel costs alone added $46 million to Toronto's proposed budget. A study out of Toronto Metropolitan University in 2019 found Toronto had some of the lowest property tax rates in Southern Ontario, both as a measure of property value and household income. It suggests that the city could raise its property tax rate by 20% and still be in the middle range of those levied by municipalities in Greater Toronto and Hamilton area. Meanwhile, some municipalities in the province have directed staff to implement smaller increases. Some municipalities have also argued that changes brought in by the Ontario government to freeze, reduce, and exempt fees developers pay to build affordable housing, non-profit housing, and some rental units would lead to higher property taxes. Those fees go to municipalities to pay for services to support new homes such as roads and community centers. Speaking at an unrelated news conference Wednesday, Ontario Premier Doug Ford said municipalities don't have to raise taxes and should drive efficiencies instead. Government as a whole, municipally, provincially, federally, they don't have an income problem, he said in Toronto. They have a spending problem. If every government ran it like in a business, if everyone you know ran it the way President Jeff Liger runs Shoppers Drug Mart, we would drive things more efficiently. A 15-year-old student is in hospital after being stabbed during a targeted robbery near a high school in Stony Creek on Wednesday. Hamilton police said the stabbing occurred close to Saltfleet District High School, which is located in the area of Highland Road and Upper Centennial Parkway. The student was taken to the hospital in serious condition, police said. The circumstances surrounding the incident are unknown. Police said they are searching for the suspect but have not released a suspect description. A suspect has been arrested in connection with what police are describing as an unprovoked stabbing attack in Mississauga on Tuesday. The 19-year-old victim was walking in the area of Ontario Street, north of John Street, at around 4:30 p.m. when an unknown suspect approached him from behind and stabbed him, police said. The suspect then fled, heading south on Ontario Street and east onto John Street. The victim was rushed to a local hospital by paramedics and was then transferred to a trauma center where he remains in critical but stable condition. On Wednesday morning, police identified a suspect as 34-year-old David Ditlow, suggesting that he should be considered armed and dangerous. Ditlow was then taken into custody within hours. Police say that he's facing multiple charges, including attempted murder. At the present time, it appears that there's no known relationship between the suspect and the victim, Constable Tyler Bell told CP24. Bell said that police have not yet determined a motive for the attack as the investigation remains in its infancy. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.